benchmark set at $2 billion. But this president likes the deal when the stakes are higher. President Tinubu believes increasing the level of currency swaps will speed up the infrastructural development in Nigeria and deepen the strategic bilateral relations. He said the bond between Nigeria and China should grow stronger and become unbreakable. Regarding the $50 billion pledged by the Chinese government to support Africa, President Tinubu noted that the continent's infrastructural needs would require more commitments, urging a review of the amount to reflect the continent's reality. President Tinubu called on China to support Nigeria's bid for a permanent United Nations Security Council seat. He said Africa, particularly Nigeria, is prepared to meet developmental goals and contribute project counterpart funding. The visiting Chinese minister thanked President Bola Tinubu for appointing a Director General and Global Liaison, Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership, to oversee the implementation of a Memorandum of Understanding for the rapid development of the Nigerian economy. He also appreciated Nigeria for abiding by the One China principle, promising continued support to Nigeria in achieving the Renewed Hope agenda, countering terrorism, and ensuring regional security. Yi said Chinese investments in the country would focus on employment generation and infrastructural development. The foreign minister said China would welcome Nigeria's membership in the BRICS and participation in the Global Development Mechanism. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, 4 agreements reached between Nigeria and China are currently at various stages of implementation. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, along with his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi, both reaffirmed their commitment to formalizing the strategic partnerships into a constructive one to mutually benefit the two countries. Garba Natala reports.
Their intent is displayed here as Yusuf Tuga warmly receives the Chinese foreign minister at the ministry for high-level talks to deepen bilateral cooperation across key sectors of both economies. The visit also signals China's support for Nigeria has yielded positive results. Before a closed-door session, Yusuf Tuga, who doubled as an interpreter, affirms that Nigeria's diplomatic engagements with China had been free from disputes.
More so, our cooperation has yielded fruitful results in various fields, including trade, investment, infrastructure development, and cultural exchange.
The minister recalled the state visit of President Tinubu to China from 3rd to 4th September 2024, during which 4 MOUs were signed.
Nigeria reaffirms its commitment to the terms of the MOUs, which are currently at various stages of implementation.
China's Foreign Affairs Minister, Wang Yi, promised to further pursue development by exploring other key areas of collaboration in driving growth.
My visit this time is to further the tradition of the Chinese foreign minister visiting Africa as the first overseas visit of the new year. It is also to discuss with my African friends how to deliver on the important common understandings reached at the FOCAC Beijing meeting in Nigeria.
The two parties are also expected to further find ways of implementing the resolutions of the FOCAC Beijing meetings, particularly the 10 partnership actions, which is another focal area to deepen trade and investments between the two countries. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
Now, to the 2025 budget now, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating of the Economy, Wale Edun, has itemized some benefits of the economic policies adopted by the President Tinubu administration, which include increased reserves, stable foreign exchange, lower deficit, and debt service. At an engagement between the Senate Committee on Appropriations and the Presidential Economic Team on 2024 budget performance and outlook in 2025, the minister asserts that federal government is poised to continue on that trajectory for economic growth. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
We have a budget that is well packaged, well put together. structured and whose financial implications are realistic and realizable.
Quite often asked question of us is whether our commitment to stay in the course, and certainly with the leadership of Mr. President and your support, we are determined to stay the course.
This sitting is among series of engagements between the economic team and National Assembly as work continues on the 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal. The lawmakers sought specific details and information on federal government's implementation of the budget and plans for the year amid economic realities.
To explain to us, 1, the current situation of things as affect the economy. 2, to discuss about the 2024 Appropriation Act performance. And 3, to also introduce to us all that is contained in the 2025 Appropriation Bill.
The forward to release in the Office of the Accountant General. I think there is a need to have a second look of that policy of bottom-top approach.
Some of these things have not been actually addressed, especially working with the figures. It is important to clearly talk on the figures.
The session continued behind closed doors. Meanwhile, the Chairman Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation, Senator Keneze, at a session on budget performance and projections with agencies in the sector, advised that there should be deliberate effort to think outside the box for improved services to Nigerians and internally generated revenue.
And this is a sector that has been devoured with so many challenges, especially in terms of fake reportage.
Some of the agencies highlighted their mandates and called for improved funding.
And we discovered that about 20.7 billion was misallocated to other MDAs for the same job NOA was set up to do. And all these MDAs still come back to us, keeping the money, and they expect us to deliver. And when there are issues in the country, they call NOA.
Our core mandate is to present complete and impartial information, news material or features that is not inimical or injurious to national interest.
The budget defense session with the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembus, that of the Voice of Nigeria, Jibril Babandachi, and the DG of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Mohammed Bulama, among others, will be held at a later date. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now let's talk about oil and gas, where participants at a one-day symposium in Abuja want the embedding of the needed diversity to harness the numerous benefits of crude oil in Nigeria. They also want a robust, inclusive energy strategy that will prioritize industrializing the country with resources from the oil industry. Lydia Sampson reports.
Abiola Adebiyi is a core member, and like most Nigerians, she wants a better understanding of the complexity of the oil and gas industry in the country. This symposium, she says, has given her more perspective.
As Nigerians that want to forge a way ahead, we certainly need to take control of our resources.
Participants at the one-day symposium organized by NNPC Limited and Class Masters Limited are focusing on turning around the Nigerian oil industry from challenges to opportunity and towards sustainable development. They also want the navigation of hurdles to boost oil production instead of consumption at the expense of production.
There is need for us to know how the industry works. Now we are talking about energy transition. How are we transiting? How are we moving? People should be aware. People should be environmentally conscious.
And if a country has a viable petrochemical industry and also has a viable steel industry, that country is on the way to fulfillment in the economic sector.
Well, there should be affirmative action to ensure women participation across the entire value chain, not just in catering and cleaning services, but in the core engineering.
You know, the youths are crying out to know what are the potentials and the opportunities that are there, so that what they have in their head as innovation can be integrated into development in this country. This has come out very, very emphatically, and I think this is the way to go.
They acknowledge that the Nigerian petroleum industry is at a pivotal junction especially as regards the shift to renewables and cleaner energy. They are optimistic that with genuine efforts at imbibing best practices from other countries, significant developments can happen this 2025 and beyond in the Nigerian oil industry. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now turning to agriculture, where President Bola Tinubu has authorized the procurement and distribution of 2,000 tractors to enhance agricultural activities in the country. An agreement to this effect was signed in the presence of the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja. Musa Babaliu has the details.
In October 2024, the Federal Executive Council approved the memorandum for the procurement of heavy-duty equipment intended for agricultural activities. A total of 2,000 units of tractors and other farming implements will be deployed at the cost of $70 million. The National Agricultural Development Fund, a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, will oversee the procurement.
We have also had a visitation to a farm where John Deere tractors at the John Deere model farm, and have also engaged on some very rigorous and intensive negotiations of the terms and conditions of this contract.
This led to the signing of an agreement that paves the way for the deployment of the tractors starting in February of this year.
Mechanization policy of President Bola Tinubu, that will be an incentive and something that will attract the young and also women into agriculture, whereby we are going to have a lot of yield and we'll see increase in our agricultural harvest.
In addition to this initiative, the federal government is also working on 3 additional mechanization programs, including the deployment of 10,000 tractors.
Where also it seeks to, amongst others, development of farmlands across the country, where we intend to open up 25,000 hectares in every geopolitical zone, and then supply of almost about different items of equipment numbering to about 10,000.
The president's vision is for Nigeria to expand its cultivated areas and enhance production through mechanization. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the federal government remains resolute in its quest to provide quality education for Nigerians, with zero tolerance for infractions in the sector, says the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa. This is during an engagement with the chairman of governing councils for polytechnics and colleges of education. Zenret Digmon tells us more.
The ministry remains fully committed to supporting your efforts. We are ready to listen to your concerns, deliberate on them, and at the same time work together to propose solutions.
This engagement set the tone for a candid discussion between the Ministers of Education and the chairman of governing councils for polytechnics and colleges of education. The goal is to evaluate the operational activities of these institutions, focusing on fortifying their distinct and invaluable roles in producing skilled manpower, exceptional innovators, and educators for the economy.
There are some limitations here and there when it comes to the powers of a board in respect of powers of a commission. I happen to have privilege of making law, and I know the slight differences that exist.
We wish to also inform you that we have been inundated about the lack of budgetary head for the funding of governing councils' activities in the colleges.
Dr. Alausa emphasizes the need for accountability and high standards in the sector.
The governing council are expected to set the tone for institutional excellence, promote good governance, and support the pursuit of academic and infrastructure development.
The ministry's 6-point agenda, according to the minister, is a comprehensive plan addressing critical areas that must be harnessed to drive and achieve the sector's goals. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
We'll now take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Please don't go away. welcome back. Now, preparations have begun at the National Arcade ahead of the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day 2025 to honor the bravery, courage, sacrifice, and legacy of the fallen heroes. Olajide Bello tells us more.
The morning air was crisp and the sun had barely begun to rise when the soldiers gathered in the heart of the town. Eagle Square area was cordoned with the sole purpose of rehearsing for the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, a solemn occasion where the nation pays tribute to the heroes who had laid down their lives for freedom. The preparation parade was the highlight of the day, a symbol of respect for the fallen and a reminder of the sacrifices made. As the military band began to play, the sound of drums and brass filled the air, resonating through the street. The soldiers marched in perfect unison, their boots echoing on the pavement. Each step was deliberate, each movement precise, a silent salute to those who had made the ultimate sacrifice. It wasn't just a rehearsal, it was a promise that the sacrifices made by the fallen would never be in vain. Officers and men of the armed forces are putting in finishing touches to come up with a top-notch parade come 15th of January 2025. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has provided more critical combat enablers as a deliberate effort to enhance the capacity of the armed forces as they continue to combat insecurity and maintain peace across Nigeria. The Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa said this while addressing troops at Samaru Cantonment in Zango, Qatar local government area of Kaduna State. Ndeyagba Gang has the details.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says the visit is part of ongoing efforts at strengthening the defense mechanism of the armed forces. They were at Samaru Cantonment in Zangon Katav local government area for an on-the-spot assessment of the level of work and the progress of the infrastructure development aimed at enhancing operational capabilities of the cantonment. General Christopher Musa commended the troops for their dedication and resilience, reiterating the military's commitment to ensuring their welfare and operational effectiveness. He further assured the troops on efforts to provide additional reinforcements and critical combat enablers approved by the presidency to enhance military operations in keeping Nigeria safe.
I want to thank Mr. President for the support he's given us. He has promised us everything we require we will get. We're happy that the southern Kaduna is getting more peaceful.
Today here, some of these places you cannot enter them with gun trucks, so motorcycles are very, very key. Also, we'll be getting night vision goggles to enhance our night fighting capability.
With confidence, I can tell you things are much, much better than they were before.
Earlier, the Chief of Defense Staff and his team visited the Chief of Kagoro, Chief Ufwe Bonnet, to reassure him of the military's determination to bring peace to the community. Ndenyan and Abidjan, NTA News.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has decorated his aide-de-camp, ADC, Nuruddin Yusuf, with his new rank of colonel in the Nigerian army. Stella's correspondent Musbadan Wahab reports that service chiefs attended the decoration ceremony at the State House.
Meet the man that takes every step with the president in official engagements. He is the aide-de-corps, translating to a helper. The ADC provides security and protects the president and his family in collaboration with men of other security agencies. As one of the closest aides to the president, the ADC also has additional responsibilities. These include attending to the personal needs and other matters of the president regarding his functions as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. These functions Nuruddin Yusuf has been performing since the inception of President Bola Tinubu in 2023, home and abroad.
Lieutenant Colonel.
This day, Lieutenant Colonel Yusuf would be decorated with his new rank as due and approved by the Nigerian Army. And the prestige could not get bigger as the ADC also got the additional honor of being decorated by the Commander-in-Chief. Apparently satisfied with the services of his ADC so far, the President, proud of the moment, saluted Colonel Yusuf for his diligence.
He is worthy of promotion, and I'm very happy for you. I'm very diligent, reliable officer with right temperament. I believe you will go farther and farther in your chosen profession.
Red Neck, a new rank of seniority in the military, marks a new milestone for the ADC along its line of duty.
As a Red Neck officer, I, Colonel Nuruddin Alowonle Yusuf, once again pledge my unalloyed loyalty to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to the Nigerian nation.
Colonel Yusuf has held several appointments within and outside the Army in the course of his career, some of which include Officer Commanding State House Military Intelligence Group 2010 to 2012, and later the Officer Commanding the Presidential Bodyguard State House Abuja 2015 to 2017. He has participated in military operations within and outside the country, including Operation Restore Hope, Operation Zaman Lafia, and the United Nations mission in Darfur, Sudan.
Yeah, this is a reward for hard work. It shows that when you work very hard, you get good results. And in the military, that's what we do. We always make sure that those deserving are the ones that are really promoted. And we thank Mr. President for making it possible. And for him, I know he knows in the military, the higher you go, the hotter it becomes. So he's now a redneck. More is expected from him, and I'm sure he's ready and willing to do so.
Colonel Nuruddin Alowonle Yusuf is from Kwara State. From the State House, Musbal and Wahab, NT News.
This is where the news ends. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin. Ben, we do have a wonderful night rest.